All right, there's our recording. We are ready to get going. So we are in the final 4 days, including today. Thursday will be our last day. Everybody excited about that? You should be closer to graduation. All right. So I hope that's a good thing for everybody. So we're going to get going here. Got some ground to cover. And so here we go. I'm going to start off with our screen share here. Don't need that in the way there. There we go. All right. Gonna look at this as a student. Some people took advantage with the assignments opening up on Friday and got a head start on this week. Knock some stuff out, give themselves a little bit of a break. Big thing here, pay attention to Thursday. The deadline is 10 o'clock. Some people like to push out that daily assignment till as close to midnight as possible. And so that's usually when I am up gaming. So I'm a late night gamer. So 10 o'clock, not 10:01, nothing can go in after 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, we are compiling those final grades. And so late emails, things like that, they won't be added in. Okay, so please make sure you get something in by then. If you want it included in your final grade. Internet going down, bad connections, things like that. No, 10 o'clock, all right? We have to, our deadline, so that's why we have to make sure what happens at 10 o'clock IT starts locking everybody out. So if you're in something, you will be booted out. I can't stop that, and I don't know which order the classes start getting knocked off. So please don't get caught up in that. All right. So you should be complete with everything in week 2. I'm going to be going back through and making sure that those are all completed. Anything that you haven't done in week 2, you won't be able to get back into that. Okay, week 2 is done. If you missed something in week 2, it is over. And the only exceptions, if it was something that had to do with the interview that was out of your control, and I will contact the campus to make sure what went wrong there and see what's going on. Week 3, if you are missing something, you need to contact me for anything for an extension. Let me know what went wrong there. But here we are in week 4, our final week. You're going to have a professional ethics scenario. This is something that happens all the time. There is a video that goes along here, and we're going to talk about professional ethics and things that happen, and what you do, how you do. You're going to click on this video here. You're going to get a wonderful commercial. Seems like more and more you're getting more commercials. And so it's going to go through here, and it's going to ask you what's legal, what's not legal. This is something that's really important, especially now with everything that's going on in workplaces, and that how you determine what they can and can't do to you, how they treat you. So it's not necessarily always about how you treat others, but how they can treat you. So pay attention, because things that you may not think is actually correct or right, or they shouldn't be able to do that, legally they might be able to. So it doesn't make it right. Always know that legal and right are not the same thing. They can do things legally, but it may not be morally correct or ethically correct the way we feel. Remember, ethics and that are rules for behavior, okay? But they can legally do things. Doesn't mean we agree with them. And that's always a hard thing. There was a question that I gave you to think about how you would choose a company that lines up with your ethics? How many people remember this? This was one of our daily questions. You remember that question? And I asked you to think about that. Yeah. Okay, part of that is because they can get by with things that are legal, but if it goes against your ethics and those ethics are very close to you, those are your personal things. And if it goes against that, you could be really upset, really bothered, and you may not agree with it, but they can legally do that. Now, this one, anybody out there who might think they want to move up in the world, might want to possibly move up, more pay, may not be that much more responsibility, because how many people have been in a situation where they give you a lot of responsibility, but they just don't give you the title, so they don't have to give you the pay. They just keep adding stuff on. Yeah. Okay. So this is leadership in action. Now, how many people have completed the actual interview where you talk to somebody who's in management? Anybody in management? That was the thing. You go interview. Has anybody talked to their person yet? May not have, but you need to by Wednesday, I believe is the due date. Talk to that person. This is what happens, okay? So these are things that could happen to you as a new person. So think about really how you would actually handle this. Because remember, you can't fly off the handle at people because now you are the manager. So these are kind of fun scenarios because you need to think as the person in charge, not as another employee. So that's kind of a neat thing. Some of these can be knocked out really quick. And the reason why I'm saying this, how many people want to finish this class and be done? You do. I know you do. You start getting anxious. You want this over with. That's a good thing. Please don't think you're hurting my feelings. I'm right there with you. You want to graduate. You want this to be done. You're excited. And we want this for you. So, think, you can knock these out, make it easier on you. You got a lot of things coming up with this graduation and everything. So, but you need skills to go along with it. All right. Okay. So then Wednesday, this here, all you're going to need to do is look. You don't have to do anything in here. If you want to, you can come in here and you can choose text, type in done, but you really don't have to do anything. I'm going to put in your actual review when I get it back, okay? I'm going to paste it in here. So how many people actually read the comments when I put them in on stuff? Be honest, okay? You read them, okay? I'm going to put, you'll see it in your comments, the actual sheet that comes back. They check it off, I total it, and then I just put the score in. Now here's the deal. How many of you have ever had a bad day? Just a bad day, and no matter how nice people are, you're just going to chew their heads off. You ever do that? I just want to chew people up, okay? So what I do is I look, and sometimes people who do the interviews are in a bad mood. And so you're not the only class that gets interviewed by these people that day. So all us instructors, I'll say, you know what? I don't think this is right. Everybody in my class got really bad reviews this day. And I'll ask the other instructors, and there's like 100+ people a day that'll get interviewed. If everybody that day got a bad interview, we're going to curve that score because we know there was a bad day going on there. Everybody couldn't have just done horrible. Everybody got that? You understand that it looks like the interviewer was just out to attack people that day. So we understand that sometimes those things happen. So if it looks like everybody just did horrible that day, I know y'all did. So I look for patterns like that. If somebody just decided, you know what, I'm going to chew these people up, it ain't going to happen. All right. So I got your back there just in case. But you're just going to get a grade there, and you're going to see your sheet, and they'll scribble all over it. Sometimes some people are very neat. You're going to see that. Okay. This is where you talk to that person in management. Really take these things serious. Go talk to them. Find out what it's like. The most important pieces of information I got was, what was it like to go from a regular Joe Schmo into management? Because people are going to resent you, okay? People are going to resent you. Not everyone's going to be happy. Have you ever had somebody smile to your face and then while they're doing that, they're stabbing you in the back? You're going to have some of your best friends do this when you move up. Deal with it, okay? You are not responsible for their happiness. You are your business. How many people know you are your brand? Remember, you are your brand. You are your business. If those people are so concerned, walk right over to them, hand them your bills and say, which one of these are you going to pay? If you have kids, take your kids over to them and say, what are you going to feed them tonight? Drive your car over there and say, are you putting gas in it? They're not concerned about those things now, are they? Be prepared, understand, and talk to them and say, look, I'm sorry you're upset about this, but let's see what we can do to make you better.
Mr.
Remember,
Haley?
lift everybody up with you.
Mr. Haley?
Right? Are you trying to talk? I'm not hearing you.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to talk.
There
I'm
you
trying
go.
to ask
I
a
hear you.
question.
What was?
So like, what if I just got promoted to management? Can I tell you about how it feels with me? Because at my job, I'm a manager now.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. I'll take that. And I'm glad you asked that. Always remember, if you have questions about, ask. Communication's one of the biggest ways people get fired. Okay, they don't talk and they let things go, or they do things incorrect just because they don't ask. So yes, thank you for asking. I'm so looking forward to that because that's going to be very, very interesting. And you know what? I may change this assignment because of you. I may add that as an option. And I thank you for that because that's how we change and grow this program. And so I'm going to look at changing this assignment and say, if you have moved up, explain what it was like during that transition. So thank you. That's great insight. I appreciate that. So see, we are constantly changing and growing through our careers. This is a great example. Somebody comes along with a new set of eyes, a new set of ideas, and boom, like that. Has anybody else just recently moved up into management, or is he the only one? Only one? Okay. But yes, I'll take that. And you know what? I probably won't be able to get it into next month, but the month after that. Wow. Thank you. That's how we make changes. That's how we do positive growth. And I'm so thrilled about that. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's what you do there. That's how we all better ourselves. Because I'm never ever uh, gonna say everybody has all the answers. And if you remember further back, I mentioned that you don't want to be one-sided in your career growth and just take and take and take information. Remember that? Don't be one of those that just takes information. Be willing to share your information because if you become one-sided, you'll end up being rejected. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's sharing his knowledge. So good job. And so then the last day, Thursday, that is going to be pre-recorded. Okay. Let me tell you this pre-recorded thing, because it's the last day, I want to make sure everybody has all the information you need. Basically, it's just going to be going over how to do that final exam. Okay. And so it's going to be a very, very quick, this is how you do the final exam. Here's your question. Okay. And I'm going to send out an email and it's going to have the link to it and blah, blah, blah. Hint, hint, the question will be in the email and text. Okay. Everybody got that? Hint, hint. everybody understand that it will be in the email. So if you know how to do the exam, you don't necessarily have to watch the whole video thing. It's going to be a very short video. I'm trying to give you all a break there because I want to make sure you have time to finish everything out. The career plan, the final project, remember this one, most of it is putting in your goals. Please follow the format. You don't necessarily have to use the form itself, but you have to follow the format because we have to have all this information. Your goals, long-term goals, put in your skills in the next section, certifications that might be required for your job, any other company training that you think they might be able to offer, any opportunities like internships, things that you think might be able to be out there, or any further training that you think you might need to continue to grow, and then your short-term goals there. That's why you did them. This is telling you how to get to where you want to be. All right? Okay. We are ready to move on. So let's see how this is going to go. You swap my displays. All right. So I mentioned this in one of the classes. Oops. On. So I mentioned this in one of the classes earlier, and I want to go over this because this is such a huge part of life in general here. This is something that we talked about before, imposter syndrome. Everybody has this to a point. This is the way we see ourselves. This is what we think right here. We think this is what we know, and this is everybody else. We're afraid when we start our careers, we're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Okay. But that's not true. Okay. This is the real deal here. Notice we know part of everybody's information. And look, everybody just knows a little bit of everybody else's. Everybody overlaps a little bit, but nobody has that big ball of knowledge. We're all in the same boat. So know that you are right where you belong. You will do fine. This is where that confidence comes in. And I always tell you this. Know what you know. This way, when somebody says, do you know this? You can say with confidence, yes, I do. And if they say, do you know this? You can say, no, I don't. But you can explain this to me and then we'll both know. Tell them that. Well, let's find out together. You can grow. But you're going to have that first day. And we're going to talk about it because anybody find first days terrifying? I do. I don't like it. Like eating bad food. I don't like it. Okay. And we're going to talk about these evaluations because so many people get questions about what a performance evaluation really is. We're going to talk a little bit about safety and that professional network again. All right. Okay. First day on the job, it can be overwhelming. Understand that. One of the things I'll tell you sounds silly. Make sure you know where the bathroom is. Okay. Ask where the bathroom is because when you need to use it, that's not when to try to find out where it is. Ask ahead of time because what if somebody isn't around and you don't know? That's the thing. Find out where the bathroom is. Find out where to park. Find out phone policies. Okay, especially now. Find out what the phone policy is because you don't want to be having your phone going off and it's not allowed, things like that. Okay. So the reason why it's overwhelming you're going to meet a lot of people and they only have to meet one. Okay. Try to focus in on a couple people to remember names and maybe they'll help you. Gonna learn the facility. Try to be as positive as possible. Don't keep going, well, where I worked, where I worked, where I worked, where I worked, because then they'll want you to go back to working there. Okay. Say, oh, I think I can do this because I've done something similar. Things like that. Don't keep saying where I work. Okay. Make sure you have the proper badging, security, things like that. Know where to go in and out. When I started working at one place, I kept going in this one door because that's where they brought me in when I started. And then I was told, oh, that was only for the executives. Finally, after I've been doing it a month, I didn't know, but I never asked either. So that was my bad, I guess. Um, but make sure you know the proper dress codes. Do you have to have special boots, steel-toe boots, flame retardant, things like this? Um, okay, now these are real important. They're special forms, the I-9W form and benefit forms. Okay, so let's talk about that. The I-9 gives you authorization to work in the U.S. Okay, this gives you the ability to work in the state. Okay, without it, you can't work here, period. No questions about it. Okay, and you have to sign it in front of somebody that's representing human resources. You can't take this home and fill this out. Okay, and that's what it is. Not within so many days, you must sign it right there. Okay, so people say, oh, you have to sign it with it. No, the question is going to be, what is this form? You have to be able to sign it in front of a human resource person to work in the States. Okay. Now, this is basically for taxes here. Okay. Now, people will tell you, oh, put one, put two, put three, but it'll tell you, check this, check that. If you're married, you're single, you have children, da 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 da. Okay. The best practice with this form is at the end of the year, you don't get money back and you don't pay. Okay, the reasoning behind that is you don't gain interest if the government holds your money. Okay, so you want the most money coming back and then in your paycheck so you can invest it in whatever you want. Some people don't want that, they want a big refund. Okay, then change your numbers around. Okay, you'll get a big refund, but the more money the government holds, that's less money you have for your own interest and use. That's up to you. But this is really based on your number of dependents and your marital status. Okay? That's what that is. Now, your benefits, that's going to be all up to the workplace. They may have you take those home, fill those out. They may give you a login to fill that out online, and it may not take effect for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. That's all up to them. Now, be on time, be enthusiastic, smile, but don't look like the Cheshire cat, Be real. Expect and exhibit positive attitude. Don't down the place you used to work. If people ask you about, say, it was a decent place, but I wanted something that was going to allow me to grow, da da da. Turn everything into a positive. Okay. They ask you how your first day went. The supervisor say, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to another day and growing. You know, these are the questions I had. If you actually have questions, ask them this. Don't be afraid to ask because otherwise, as time goes on, they're going to expect you to know it. Now, anybody, if you are expected to work remote. Now, this is not just online. When I say remote, you could be in a van, you could be working. They may have you travel to like a smaller building, things like that. Make sure your workspace is dedicated, you know? Make a little spot for you to work, okay? Now, you're going to have onboarding sessions, okay? That's where they have you do videos and you may have to go sit through a meeting. They tell you about, look, a brand, mission statements. When I worked in one of my vet's office, they would randomly call phones in our building. Now, if there's a phone ringing, the closest person had to answer it. Didn't matter if you worked in the kennel, if you were a tech, you were in the front office, anywhere, you had to answer it. And we had to recite our mission statement. You got the mission statement the first time wrong, you were given a warning. Second time, you were fired. Boom. That was BCA. That was also Banfield. Either one of those. If you work for them, you get that mission statement wrong 2 times, you were fired. Boom. It didn't matter what your hospital manager said. That veterinary office had to make sure we were 100% compliant. Routines. How many people like routines? Every day I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. You set up a routine. Okay? Routines help keep things on track. They do. That's one of the good things about them is they do keep things going. They make things work. So that's a good thing. Communicate effectively. Okay, when you're talking to people, open your mouth. Smile when you talk. Just like on the interview, they can hear it. So smile when you talk. It automatically makes you pronounce things and enunciate things better. Take care of your physical and mental health, okay? Here's the deal, okay? You got a choice. Either you rest, take breaks, or your body's going to do it for you, okay? I can tell you this. It's true. And you know how I can tell you this? Because anybody been to SeaWorld? Anybody been to SeaWorld? Ride the roller coasters? Love roller coasters? We were there for the opening of Icebreaker, rode that, got off it. My arm's sore, kind of hurting. I thought, oh, I must have bumped it on something. Okay. 3 days later, I'm doing my class just like this. Got a virtual background because I've got all the machines blacked out behind me because I was in the hospital because I had a stroke. Relax. Take time to rest and take care of your physical and mental health. Okay? They were furious here. I held a class from a hospital room. But I'm dedicated to my students. I had 2 classes to do before spring break, and I was not going to let my students down. All right? You have to take care of yourself or you can't take care of anything else. Does everybody hear that? Take care of yourself or you can't take care of anything else. Write down your schedule, the things you can't change, your work, things you have to do with your family that, regarding their health, appointments, things like that. Then look at your time you have left. If anybody else wants part of that time, if it's something fun and you can do it, do it. If it's something they want you to do for them, say, I can do that for you, but you need to do this for me. Swap. Don't ever let it be one-sided, okay? Make it two-sided, and people will stop taking advantage. Balance. Balance is the key to everything. Got it? That's a little bit of personal advice. You don't want to end up like I did and learn it backwards. All right? New hire training. You might be in a group of people that are stuck in these new hire trainings. How many people hate the new hire training? I have to train new people and I know they dread it. I know they dread it, but we all have to go through it because there's certain things we have to do. Part of it's legal. If we don't tell you and something happens to you, we can't keep digging holes and hiding the bodies, folks. Okay. We have to tell you some things. And we know you've been other places and you've been told the same thing over and over, but we have to legally tell you. So just kind of, just go with it, make the best of it. But it can be one-on-one depending on what we're doing, and what you're going to do. They're going to have to show you something. So everything you do, part of it's take notes. Okay. Uh, how many people get those little handbooks and then they have you sign them, or they have you read it online and you do a digital sign? That's a legal contract. Okay. You're legally obligated to do and obey what's in there, but so are they. Remember that, so are they, because Florida is a right to work state. That means they don't have to give you any reason to fire you. They can just come up and go, you're no longer needed. In the middle of the day, you can be in the middle of doing something, never done anything wrong, never had a write up. You're fired. But then you have that handbook. That handbook is going to tell you uh, something. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Okay. And you're going to go over the things throughout it. But some of the most important things, hours, find out, they may say it's an 8 to 5 job, whatever. Does that mean you actually start at 8, you clock in at 8, things like that? What happens if, you're locked out of buildings, stuff like that? All these things. Kind of know what you want to really know. Make sure you go on LinkedIn, that thing, and say who your new employer is. Give them a shout out. Let people know that you are employed. Okay. Now, performance evaluation. Okay. Performance evaluation isn't just to tell you you've done stuff wrong. Sometimes it's really positive feedback. And that performance evaluation is also a good thing should you be let go. Because if you're let go, your employer can fight you if you go to apply for unemployment. They don't just have to let you be able to get unemployment, because your employer has to pay for part of that unemployment. And they can say, deny them. And then you have to fight for it. But if you have those evaluations, you could say, look, I was a good employee. So these are more than just a piece of paper and did I get a raise? Okay. But one of the key things on these performance evaluations now is your coworkers are evaluating you as well. They'll randomly pick people to evaluate you and give their opinion as well. So now you need to be able to get along with your team. And that is what type of skill? A soft skill. So we have those hard skills. Well, we know how to do our job, but how well do we know how to get along with people? So that's why work on those soft skills. Learn how to communicate, learn how to read the room, learn how to associate in a way at work. That doesn't mean you have to go out and be friends. You don't have to take yoga classes together. You don't have to braid each other's hair. You don't have to, sit there and watch things on Netflix with them. Now, we typically have to share workspaces. How many people know these folks? God, this is a pet peeve. They walk around with their cell phone out and they're holding it in front of their face and they're talking out loud into the mic. Yeah. Okay, you may not be able to afford Apple earpods or Bose, But go to Dollar Tree, folks, and just get you some of those wonderful, knockoff ones and put them in your ears. So it keeps me from thinking where I want to put that phone. Because, you're shouting so loud you don't need the phone. They can hear you even if they're in another state. It's like, what are they trying to do? Everybody's got a phone nowadays. You're not impressing anyone. But keep your voice low on the phone. Use headphones if listening to music, if you can. Okay. A lot of times it's dangerous in these. Okay. Uh, who's going into veterinary and working with animals here? Yeah. Okay. I work with a vulture named Gypsy. Gypsy hatched out, and we tried to turn her loose in the wild. She didn't want to go. So we use her in shows now. Gypsy's got just under an 8-foot wingspan. She's a beautiful bird. Ugly face, beautiful bird, ugly face. We use her especially at Halloween in our shows. Uh, yeah, don't try to use headphones around Gypsy. Don't wear jewelry around Gypsy. Anything that you have that Gypsy doesn't have, she's going to remove from you. You put headphones on or ear pods in, Gypsy's going to remove your ear in the process of getting those, okay? And she's very quick, so don't do that. So be aware of what you're doing. If you're doing welding and stuff like that, anything metal like that is very dangerous in those situations. So don't do those type of thing. Be aware of what you're doing. Medical assisting, you have to be careful. People having seizures will grab things, pull them. You can't hear things, stuff like that. Turn off or silence those phones. They don't have to let you have a phone. A lot of people are shocked by that. They can tell you you can't have your phone at work. Everybody's aware of that, right? A phone's not something that they have to let you have at work. And so it shocks me. More people in offices are like, what do you mean? What if my kid has to get a hold of me? They call the main line. They determine if it's an emergency, non-emergency. They don't have to let the call go through. We got along without phones like that before. It's not an emergency. Your kid doesn't have to tell you about Bluey and what they're doing. You know, if it's a true emergency, they'll get the call through. It works. Okay. Keep everything clean and organized. That's a safety thing as well. Personal items in a drawer or closet, food and beverages, dispose of those if they're allowed. Okay. Workplace accidents, falling hazards, lifting, and material storage. Okay, here's the deal. Falling's the most common workplace accidents around. Okay, the reason why people will pull drawers out and leave them open. Somebody comes around, they trip over it. Okay, don't stand on a chair or a box to reach an object. Go get a ladder. Make sure the cords, rugs, things are secured, and don't pull them across open walkways and then somebody comes along. They make great TikTok videos, but don't do that, okay? Back injuries. People don't lift correctly. Squat down, use your knees to lift. If you're going to have to carry anything, put it on a cart. You're not impressing anyone. Those are the things with the lifting hazards. Now, material storage hazards, that's not just storing chemicals. That's doing things like putting heavy objects up on tall things, stacking bigger things on small things. Don't do that as well. That can cause them to topple over on top of people. Now, this is the way you're supposed to sit at a desk. Back up, knees across, like this. Your arms supposed to go out. Your eyes are supposed to be able to look straight across. That is what we call ergonomics. That's a study where you are in alignment. Footrest here. I sit at my desk kind of in this shape, like a letter O. I use what we call the Cheerio form, where my back is bent over, my laptop will go this way. Yeah, I don't have ergonomics. This type of situation here that you see, this is proper. I am what you call improper, and I do improvisational. Uh, don't do what I do. Do this. Okay. Try to make your things as much as possible. Recently, I elevated all my monitors on arms so that I'm not bending over. I was getting headaches and sore neck and stuff like that. So do things like that to help keep yourself safe. All right. So today, what is your biggest first day anxiety? Explain. Don't just say it's this. What is your first day anxiety? Tell me. And that's it for today. And then there will be 3 days starting tomorrow. And that last day, like I said, will be the video and the email and text. Y'all are doing great. Just make sure you have everything caught up. Don't get weirded out by the interview things and stuff like that. All these things you're very capable of doing. You are the professional. Keep remembering that you are almost there. Don't forget to get those contact cards, those business cards. Grow yourself. Become everything you want. Because if you really want it, you will do these things. So, a quick thing to help is write down things that you really want that are reasonable in life that you can get with a career. And put that down. Like, I would like a car, I would like a house, I would like this. And just think about that. And know that you can actually get these things. And now tell yourself, do I want to put the effort in? And if the answer is yes, think about things we have talked about in this class that you are like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. And now look at that list and decide, is the effort worth it? Think on that. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Have a good day.